lesson 5. In this particular lesson we'll be dealing with the arrangement of our track. So we've basically got all the elements that we need, but now it actually needs to start turning into a song. So first thing I want to do is all the sounds that I've used are currently on piano, or well, all the melodic sounds that I've used are currently on piano. So now I actually want to get sounds that are relevant to each of these channels. So chords, I want to get something that's relevant to chords, bass, rhythm, lead. With bass we've already got our bass. We'll just keep that like that for now, but we'll replace our chords, rhythm and lead. So firstly I'm going to replace my chords. So I'm just going to go Control and click over here so that I can solo that. Obviously still on a piano. So we want to get something that's relevant to chords. We still want something that sustains, that just creates some atmosphere and basically just creates the mood for our track. It's just going to be an underlining sound, keeping those chords there without doing something too interesting, but it'll create a good basis for what our chords are doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click, replace. Now you could go through a bunch of options, actually see what works for you. I'm just going to be using, let's use Citrus for now. So now another way that I could do this instead of right clicking and replacing is I could actually, right here you'll see this is what's in my current project. This is basically anything I can use within FL, and then if I click over here I'll get all my software instruments or VSTs I'll find over here. And now you'll see underneath generators I've got Fruity, New, VST3, VST. So VST is anything, it's a third-party plugin. What that means, it's a plugin that doesn't specifically come with FL Studio but can work within FL Studio. But we'll get to that much later on. For now we're just using the sounds that are in Fruity. So if I go into Fruity I can also just look for Citrus, and then I could click on it and drag it onto that channel as well. And then I'm just going to rename this again. So this will be chords. You don't have to do this. This is just for me, so I have some order in my track. So what I want to do now is I can go through a bunch of different presets or sounds within Citrus. So how I can do that is I'm just going to left click on this little arrow, go to presets, and then I'm looking for, especially if I'm working with chords, things that might work are pianos, but we've used the piano before. We've got synth strings. You could also use pads. So I've got pads over here, I've got synth strings over here, and then I've got piano. You can obviously look for sounds that work for you, but I'd recommend that you stick with something like either keys or a pad. That's a bit hectic. So for now I'm just going to, you'll see here on the left of your channel as well, I've got a volume channel and then I've got a panning channel. So for now I'm just going to turn the volume down a bit. So what the panning does is any sound either is mono or stereo. Mono is actually two channels that work as one, whereas stereo is most things are actually stereo. So if I listen to my headphones especially, what happens in my left ear and what happens in my right ear are two separate stereo channels. So if I were to turn this all the way to the left, so to turn it to the left, I'll left click on it and drag it to the bottom. Now that's panned to the left, to my left ear, and if I do it to the right, that'll be panned to my right ear. But for now I just want to keep it in the middle, so I'm just going to drag it down. And then here in my top corner, you'll see as I drag, it'll actually go tell me where I am, right over here. So I want to get it back to 0, so it's not panned left or right. You can go through the sounds like you like them. I'm just going to stick to that for now. Next up, I'm going to go to my rhythm. Do the same thing. I'm going to replace and just use Citrus for that as well for now. So with my rhythm, preferably I want a shorter sound, not something as sustained as that. So let's see if we go through our presets, some options that we could go through. Again, we could use any kind of keys. So your organ plucked would work as well, short synths would work, piano, but preferably you're looking for quite a short sound. Not too short, so let's say not as long as a pad, but yeah, depending on how long you actually want your rhythm, you don't want it to you don't want it to interfere with your track or with the other elements. So let's see. I don't want to use piano. Let's see what we've got in plucked. That'll work for now. I'm also just going to turn that on slightly. And I think I might just drop that an octave. So again, to drop it an octave, let me just go back in there. I'm just going to left click on my piano roll, Control A to select all, and then I'm going to go Control down. So you see what that sounds like with the rest of our elements. Yeah, that works for now. So I'm just going to take all of these off. I actually just want to hear the lead now. Again, I'm just going to replace this with Citrus. Nah, you know what? Let's do something else. So you can obviously go through these. Some of them, unfortunately, are trials, but there's a cool way to fix that. So let's say Harmor, for instance. On my specific version of FL, it's a trial, which means I could use it for now, but if I save it and come back in, I won't be able to use it. But we're going to fix that. So let's see what we've got. So we've actually got a lead section. Keyboards could work here as well. Bells, synthesizers. Let's see, I preferably don't want to use a pad. So let's see what we've got under lead. Quite loud. I'm just going to turn that down as well. Yeah, that sounds good. So let's see what everything sounds like together. Yeah, we've definitely got something going, but obviously everything's still clashing quite a bit, but we'll get to that in our mixing stage. Now what we want to do is we want to head over into our playlist view and go from pattern mode to song mode. So let's just see, here we've got, I can left click on this, so I can go to my playlist. Other way I can do that is by pressing F5. Now the cool thing is, if I wonder what any of these shortcuts are, if I hover over them, again here on my left there's something called the hint panel. So if I hover over that, it'll actually give me F5 here, right over here, telling me that's my shortcut for the playlist. Same goes for my piano roll, my channel rack, my mixer. So if you ever wonder what a shortcut for something is, you can simply hover over it. Okay, so, but now before I actually go to my playlist view, what I want to do is I want to again make sure everything has got its relevant names, because of what I'm going to do next. This is going to be really important. Bass will stay bass. This would have been rhythm, and this is lead. Now, I actually want to separate these channels when I actually go into my playlist. So what I'm going to do is I want to split all these channels into their own pattern, and the way I do that is by going to patterns and then just going to simply left click on split by channel. Now you'll see on top here all these tracks actually have different patterns. So if I scroll through them, scroll up or scroll down, now each of these patterns actually, or each of these sounds have their own pattern. So it just gives me some more organization. Right, now I'm going to head over to my playlist view. So if I press F5, now I see I've got all these different patterns on my left, which I can rename. Well, I've actually already renamed them. So for now, maybe what I'll do just to get some order is, so let's make all the drums one color. So to recolor that, I just right click on rename color, etc. And then if I right click over here and I rename the color, this is the current color. So I'm going to left click on that and just give it a, so let's say for now, we'll make all the drums that color. And I'm going to do that for all of them.